Hi Capricorn, welcome to the Modern Spiritualist. My name is Raheem. Today we're going to look at February for you guys. Happy birthday, by the way. General reading for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising for February. I did a Celtic cross spread and pulled an oracle card, and I think I'm going to use Thoth here at the end to just pull on any other random messages that come through, because Thoth was calling me, so I'll do that as well. So let's get started. Your oracle card, which is going to be kind of your theme for the whole month, is Get Creative. It came up in the reverse, but this feels like an unblocking. And that makes sense, I think, with Mars being in Taurus, which is the creative sector for Capricorn. So specifically, if you're a Capricorn rising, you'll feel this, but you'll feel this regardless of your Capricorn placement. Get creative. And this does feel like an unblocking. So I'm not feeling anything negative from the reversal at all. I'm feeling an ability to tap into your kind of your inner landscape, your inner wisdom, your inner intuition and feelings, and play with all of that in a new way. So it feels like you're able to be more vulnerable and intimate with yourselves. There have been a lot of emotional changes for Capricorn this month. And I think in February, what you're going to see is the results of that work, where it looks like because you're increasing your ability to be vulnerable and intimate with yourself, you are able to tap into a deeper creativity and a more authentic creativity in whatever way that means for you in your life. You know, you could be an artist or of some sort or not, but in whatever way you access creativity, which we all do, in whatever way you access it in your life, this is going to be kind of at the forefront, okay? So cool. So let's look at the center. We have the Hanged Man. And so I'm getting the sense that you guys are waiting on something, particularly right at the beginning of the month if you're not already feeling this energy, and it looks like it will continue through some of February. As I'm feeling into it, I feel the first 2 or 3 weeks specifically, this energy is going to be really strong. And I think what's important here is, because Capricorn can get impatient when they haven't seen results yet, and I get that. Capricorn is a manifester. They want to see things happen in the physical material world, especially with all the work that Capricorn does, right? So that's where the impatience can kind of come from. And so I just want to acknowledge that this Hanged Man is not saying that nothing is happening. It's basically saying that things are calibrating. So the work that you've put in, the things that you've initiated in your life, you need to give them an opportunity to grow, and that's kind of what this Mars and Taurus is going to be teaching all of us all season long. So for as long as Mars is in Taurus, you've got to just take a backseat in terms of the things you've already planted, the seeds you've already planted, and just allow things to kind of naturally grow. We're just kind of at that point where we've put seeds into the ground, and we don't know if they've sprouted in the ground yet, because we have to wait for it to come out of the top of the soil, right? And so it's just kind of like that time when you don't know if it's growing or not, you don't know what's growing, you don't know at what point it's at because you can't see it. And so there's going to be a lot of trust and faith required here. And then this is also encouraging you to focus on something else, and I'm getting a pull to the Get Creative. So what I would recommend is that you just keep going, whatever it is that you're waiting on this month. Just, obviously do whatever work around it that you need to still. This doesn't necessarily mean that you stop working. It just means that you're waiting on results, and so there may be a little bit of a period of slowdown or rest. It doesn't mean it'll last all month, and it doesn't mean you're doing nothing necessarily. But you can use this slowdown. You can use the time where you're kind of waiting on something to get creative and to continue to grow and build things, whether it's in that same area or another area. Just explore, because you're giving this breath. You're being given this breath with this Hangman in order to explore. So take this as opportunity rather than failure, and then you'll be able to get the most out of it, because it's not in the reverse and because I'm not really feeling anything particularly dragging. I think you guys can do this relatively easily with whatever lessons you've already gone through or whatever. I think your mind's kind of in the right place when it comes to this for the most part. So just use this as a reminder. Things are happening, you just have to give it time, okay? Crossing that energy, crossing the Hanged Man, 7 of Swords. Interesting. I'm just feeling a really heavy sacral energy and solar plexus too, where I feel the swords kind of stabbing into me. And I'm trying to discern what it's telling me. Yeah, so work on your self-esteem and your sense of inner value. Um, because you can, because you're part of the reason why I think this is not moving forward yet, like why the hangman has come up, whatever it is that you're waiting on. It doesn't feel entirely impractical in the sense that just things take time, and so whatever you've done, you need to allow things to develop, and that's just practical, right? On the flip side of that, there is a kind of underlying energetic reason underneath this standstill too. I don't even want to call it a standstill. I want to call it a development, right? This development that you are undergoing is partly so that you can address this Seven of Swords energy. This is about your self-esteem, because whatever happens for you next, when this hangman starts to move forward again, you need to be ready. And you may think that you're ready, without maybe addressing the fact that maybe you don't feel ready. And so I feel like this is really a grace period. This is really the universe extending some grace so that you can do what you need to do to prepare yourself for what comes next. And maybe you don't know what that is yet, and that's part of the get creative here, where use this month to explore. I think self-esteem is going to be a theme, because whatever you're doing here, this is authentic to you, right? And you care about it. And so with the Seven of Swords, it's just kind of like, make sure that all of you sees that value, all of you feels that value, all of you understands that value, and has the foundation of self-esteem necessary to take action when the time comes to take action, and to receive success of any kind, or the results that you're looking for of any kind, when that time comes. Because what I'm feeling here is clearing work, especially in the sacral area and the solar plexus area. Sacral kind of deals with like not enough stories. Solar plexus deals with free will and self-esteem. And so those are kind of the major themes in terms of work that you have to do, interior personal work, that you have the chance to take care of while you are waiting on this energy. And so while clearing work is always a little bit emotionally taxing, it also feels like you are specifically being given the space to do it, and so you just need to take action on that, okay? And that will help you, and that will probably make things move forward faster for some of you. It kind of depends on the practicality of your situation specifically, but some of you will be able to move forward faster if you're really proactive with that clearing work, okay? Deep past affecting the present, this is great, King of Cups. This is about your emotions, and I'm kind of feeling two split off energies here. So some of you have recently come into a position where you are more emotionally fulfilled, more emotionally vulnerable with yourself, more fluid with your emotions, more flexible, more adaptable, and more open to the flow in general. And so some of you are coming into this cycle in February kind of having already achieved a King of Cups cycle. And so in that sense, what you are doing is leaning on the person that you are now based off of your previous cycle to be able to do this clearing work, to be able to go inside yourself and get creative, and to address this new cycle with this ability. So that's for some of you, and that's all really, really positive and great and good work. The other split off that I'm feeling for some of you is somebody in your life in the deep, deep past. And so for about half of you, this is more like a recent past thing and the work you've done. For the other half, this is deep, deep past energy, and it is it's about something, someone in your life. This could be a parent, could be a teacher. It's probably a parent. or whoever raised you, or a family member, or whatever, who just didn't hold space for your emotions whatsoever when you grew up. For whatever reason, that might have been the environment, and that's a Capricorn theme. Of being the adult and shoving everything else aside when you're too little to for that to be healthy. Basically, that's a Capricorn life path theme, right? So those of you that are kind of still being affected by that energy deeply, this cycle is about you coming to terms with that and creating a space where you can give yourself the emotional container that you need and open up those emotions a little bit more, so that you can tap into this, get creative energy, so that you can address this in the first place, because you might have difficulties feeling it if you've cut yourself off from your emotions. And so those of you that didn't do the big kind of emotional transformation recently, it's coming up now. And for those of you that haven't addressed this yet, this cycle is going to be a little bit more difficult for you, probably, than those of you that have kind of already gone through this kind of cycle. But this is an invitation. This is an invitation to get clear on your emotions, to come into your emotional power, basically, and that could be sacral solar plexus issues as well. Coming into your emotional power more, so that you can come into this next cycle just feeling so much better, feeling more authentic, feeling the flow a bit more. And so either way, that's what this symbolizes, is emotional empowerment. Whether you already have it and that's the skill that you're bringing into this next cycle, or if that's what this cycle is getting you to nurture a bit, okay? So yeah, good. And then in your foundation, we have the Queen of Wands, which is nice. We have a queen and a king here. I always kind of like that balance of energy. All of you are feeling your passion right now. All of you feel passion, and you are in a place where you are able to take action on that passion. And so there's a little bit of a reconciling that needs to happen. And as I'm seeing now, we do have the Temperance layer, so I will talk about that. We have like Water King, Fire Queen here, and then we have Temperance, which is like mixing water and fire. So yeah, so I mean the key here is, and I experience this all the time, and I'm a Capricorn sun, but I also I'm an Aries South node, and so I think it's particularly present in me. So I can't speak for all of you, but I have this tendency to want to just push, go, faster, harder, because my passion is always pushing me to do that. And what that can do for me personally is throw me out of my timing, and then I'm no longer in the flow. And so what's important here, because this is upright, because you're feeling your passion, because you want to take action on it, and because this is also here asking you to stop, basically, or asking you to take a time out or to slow down at the very least, just be careful that these don't become contradictory. You're going to have to channel this somehow, and this is where the Get Creative comes into. You don't have to put all of your passions into one thing right now. Find something else to put your passion into, so that you can harness this energy and stay in your timing. Because if discharge needs to happen this month, which basically means you need to direct your passion and take action in a certain direction, you can do that another way without getting in the way of what's in development. Does that make sense? So yeah, just make sure that you're tapping into this, because this and this together especially can really fuel this Get Creative energy. And the Thought deck, the temperament card is literally called the Art card. These are both showing up, and they're both in the reverse. And so there's definitely a theme here, okay? Yeah, a lot of opportunity to just be creative, to just have fun, to explore, and to channel this passion that you have while you're waiting for other things to come around. And that can help with this energy too. This can help with the clearing work that you need to do, the work you need to do around self-esteem and feeling like you're enough, okay? Really awesome. Crowning you this month, we have the Three of Cups, which is beautiful. Opportunities for celebration. I really think the universe is just trying to get you to have some fun this month, because I think you really did do the work and you just need to wait for whatever that other energy is that's coming through for you later, in the last half of February or in the coming months. And so this Three of Cups is kind of saying you'll get the most inspiration, or you'll get the most out of this month if you just celebrate how far you've come. Celebrate the work that you've already done. Celebrate who you are now. Celebrate what you're already still continuing to do in whatever way that you're keeping things running this month, and enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself with other people if your situation, given the pandemic, supports that. If it doesn't, celebrate online with people. You can still enjoy other people's company in some way. Okay, so try that at some point, and just don't be afraid to reward yourself and to indulge a little bit this month. Okay, I like that for you. New circumstance. Okay, so here's the Temperance card. This is about an inner recalibration, and so that's part of this this energy too. I mean, all of this really. As you're coming into better emotional alignment, that can fuel your passion. That can make you feel more creative. That can make you feel more inspired. And this Hanged Man is really not a standstill kind of hanged man. I mean, this is about calibration and higher perspective, and that's what this Temperance is alluding to. So the work that you do this month is going to set you up for everything that comes after this Hanged Man energy, when you start to take action in a certain direction. And so let February be calibration month. Ask yourself, who do I need to be inside and out so that I can show up to the next cycle in the best way possible, right? And so sit with this Hangman, let yourself calibrate, let your body calibrate, your emotions calibrate, your energy body calibrate, let your mind rewire, let yourself get into that new alignment, and allow everything that kind of needs to shift to just naturally do that. You're doing it already anyway. Whatever work you do around self-esteem and feelings of having enough and being enough are going to be key. That's going to help the calibration along. One of the best ways to allow this to naturally calibrate is to get your body moving. So, whatever physical activity speaks to you, I recommend you do it. And the other way is through channeling your creativity in some way. Whatever it is that you do, this is really going to help this energy settle and get you into a higher vibration in terms of your self-worth and self-esteem, okay? Your energy this month, we have the Six of Cups reversed. This implies that some of you may really be reflecting on the past this month. I know that's kind of already been happening to me at a greater velocity than usual. Mercury is going into retrograde soon, so that makes sense. This may be an exploration of your past. Again, this energy is going to be a lot easier to deal with if you have a channel for it, if you tap into this Queen of Wands energy. So anything you can do with your body or with your creativity to be able to explore the past in a way that feels like a safe container and in a way that gets old energy out is going to be key. This does not necessarily mean that you're reflecting on hard things, but I think most of you probably are, to be honest, just because that's what Mercury retrograde brings. That's what Six of Cups reverse kind of brings. And because you have to do this clearing work in order to move on to the next cycle in a good way, this is what's required of you. And so the best way to go about this is to stay in that high energy, stay in your celebratory energy, reward yourself when you can, stay connected to your passion, make sure that you allow your emotions to really tell you what they're trying to tell you. Don't try to analyze it or cover it up. Just ask your body and let the emotions speak, and then just create that outlet for yourself. And I think that's going to be the best and easiest way to address it. It's also going to just make this clearing work with your self-worth and self-esteem faster. And I think these are absolutely tied in. What happened in your past that made you feel like you weren't worthy of the things that you want? What happened in your past that made you feel like you don't have value, or that you're just not good enough for the things that you desire? Okay, so these are the themes here. And once you get past that, then you can ask for what you want with clarity and probably receive it, because there's nothing blocking you from receiving it, right? We don't open ourselves up to receive, and that's when we don't receive generally. That's a simplification of spiritual laws in a time where, we're dealing with oppressors. And so I do want to mention that, like, some people can't get what they receive because they are marginalized, and that's different. But if we're talking kind of a more general, universal laws of metaphysics, it's just one of those things where if we're not open to receiving, we won't. And so this path is about opening yourself up to receiving in any way that you can, in any way that works for your life or what you desire. Okay. Environmental energy this month. We have 2 5s, 5 of Cups reversed and 5 of Pentacles reversed. They're both in the reverse. Interesting. I actually like these better in the reverse. It looks like this is you getting past disappointments, and I think it's really about the work that you've already done. This specifically just in the field of emotions, you really healing. Like, you actually addressing things in your past, right? 6 of Cups, and fully moving on. And then also, because this is in your environment, that being reflected in your environment, you are seeing in your environment the ways in which you've already healed certain things, right? And so this is wonderful, because when you're really moving past your healing, or when you're really moving past your trauma, and fully healing it in whatever way it's showing up for you in the moment, you are breaking patterns that will never return, because you'll never be wounded in that way again, because you've already transformed it. You've done the whole cycle of completion. You've rewritten your story. Your emotions have been let go of, and you've been able to contextualize whatever trauma that was in a new way. And so what you're doing is you're manifesting a completely different environment because you learned that lesson, right? And so this is showing you, look around you. What's different? What have you been able to make happen through that healing? What are your relationships like? How have they improved? What are your emotions like? How have they improved, right? These are all kind of things you can ask yourself. And this will keep this in balance as well. Like, yes, there's more work to do, but look at what you've already done, okay? And then the 5 of Pentacles. Very similar thing. 5 of Pentacles in particular is about feeling like you don't have enough, or like you aren't enough, or that you don't have worth, okay? And this in the reversal is saying to you, you've already done a lot of this work. You've addressed this kind of thing before, and you have healed certain patterns related to it. And so look at that as evidence around you as well. What in your immediate external environment has improved as a result of the work that you've already done. And this could be home, this could be job, this could be money, this could be people, this could be lifestyle, this could be anything that you can see reflected that is different from the past, that has improved, that has gotten better. And so take those successes and celebrate them. There's always more work to do. That's the path. If we didn't have work, we'd be dead, right? So there's always work to do. It doesn't take away from the fact that you've already done so much, and you deserve to enjoy the fruits of that, right? Before you kind of dip back in. And of course, there'll be opportunities to dip back in. There's going to be inner work to do this month, but there's also going to be a lot of opportunities for you to just chill and to celebrate what you already have done. And so maintain that balance. That's another big temperance lesson, is maintain the balance, okay? And what I like here with the wings, kind of same thing, right? Beautiful. So hopes and fears this month. 10 of Swords reversed, beautiful. You're done. There's certain patterns that you are just done with. You don't want to carry it into your future. You've done a lot of reflecting the past month. You've done a lot of work. 2020 was very difficult for Capricorns because of the eclipse action in the sign of Capricorn, and of course all the heavy hitting like Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, all that stuff. It's moving out of Capricorn now. These heavy themes are kind of moving out of your field. Again, there's always work to do, but it's not going to be as bad as 2020, right? For most of you. And so this is a double-edged sword here, because on the one hand, the hope, right, is that a lot of these patterns that you've been dealing with are done. That's the hope. The fear is that they're not, right? So keep in mind that this is, I thought this came out in the reverse, but it didn't. It still stands though. the 10 is the end. Once you get to the 10, it's almost done. So even though some of the 10s are hard, like the 10 of Swords is kind of hard, the 10 of Wands is kind of hard, but it's also like the last gasp before a new cycle. So this is the end. I would just try to stay in the hope energy. I mean, easier said than done, but if you can stay in the hope energy kind of I hope that a lot of these patterns are over. I think you'll be able to tap into that frequency and then move on. And so if any last gasp comes up for you to address in terms of like old patterns or behaviors or cycles that you feel like you've already dealt with, if any last gasp comes up, address it, even if it's frustrating. Because keep in mind that this is a 10. It really is over. It's over. So anything that comes up now is the last of it. Sorry, is the last of it. So trying to feel into anything else. I'm just being told, careful with the hope versus fear thing for me, for my own reading style. Be careful with the hope versus fear thing, because hope is still hope. So this is, you need to affirm to yourself. You need to affirm to yourself that this is done, rather than, oh, I hope it's done. You need to affirm that it is done, and then just start manifesting the next phase. You know, start setting your intentions for how you want this hangman to move forward now. Set the intentions for what you want your life to look like and who you want to be and all of that. Because setting that intention and just saying no to all these old patterns, just saying I've had enough, is what's going to actually shift the energy. So don't be powerless here. Don't be powerless to these cycles you're over with. Claim that they are done. Affirm that they are done. Affirm the next thing. Affirm the next desires, the manifestations, everything that you want for your life. Just affirm them and redirect your attention to those things, all the things that you're bringing into the world, so that these just kind of fizzle out and die, right? And it will. This is 10 of Swords. It's over. So just trust that. Just trust that this is done. Outcome. 2 of Swords. 2 of Swords I like better in this deck. It's not as problematic as it is in other decks. But it is about a decision to make. Looks like you have a decision to make. It looks like you may struggle with this decision a little bit. But again, what I'm feeling is my solar plexus just kind of tightening up. And so basically what the universe is saying, you won't be able to make a decision if you don't address this first, because this is getting in the way of your clarity. The not enough stories, the I'm not worthy stories, the lack of self-esteem. And it doesn't mean that you have full lack of self-esteem, and holistically, it just means that whatever it is that you're immediately dealing with, in terms of this hangman energy, that's where the lack of self-esteem may be coming from. And so that's specifically what you may need to address. So make sure that you address it, because right towards the end of the month, that's when this decision is going to be in play. And in order for you to make the right one, you need to be clear. You need to be clear, and addressing these not good enough stories is how you are going to be clear. Otherwise, you're operating and making decisions based off of the not good enough story, and you don't want to do that. So this energy will be the easiest for you to utilize if you do your clearing work around those stories this month. And from there, I think it will be easy. Maybe this is a decision that you're already aware of, that you're struggling to make, and that's contributing to this hanged man energy, right? So just take your time. Take your time. Know that you just need to do your work, your inner work, in order for this to become clear to you, and then it will, and you'll be able to move on, okay? So let's pull some thought. I just want to see if there's any final messages, and then we'll call it a day. That was a clearing the deck shuffle. It doesn't count. Okay. So final messages for Capricorn. Sun, Moon, Rising, month of February. I want to know more about this decision, actually, this Two of Swords. Can I get a clarifier for the Two of Swords? I really like it when they fall out, so, which is why I don't actually pull cards on screen, because it just takes forever. I got the Seven of Swords again. Okay. I'll pull another. Okay. So, Seven of Swords reversed here from the Thoth deck is saying, you cannot make this decision based on strategy or practicality. This is not about, well, I mean, it may be, but in terms of how you're going to figure out where to go from here, this is not about what's the most effective, what's the best use of your time, what will glean the most results the fastest. Like any of that kind of line of inquiry is just going to keep you stuck. So you can't rely on that. This is not about strategy. This is not about what's practical. Okay, so let's get one more clarifier for the Seven of Swords based on that. Six of Wands. You have already done the work. Not to say that you can't keep working. I mean, you can't just abandon something because you've done enough, but you've already done the work to initiate, to get this thing going. And it's already been a success. Like, think about all the ways in which you have already succeeded in what you were doing, whatever it is that you're waiting on here. Yes, you need to wait for results, but trust that you've already manifested them. You've already set these intentions. You know where you're going with this. You have that vision. Everything that you've initiated and brought off the ground from, you know, as we get to this point, is based on that end result, is based on, you know, what you want at the end of this line. And so it's really important to trust that. Trust that that it's already been manifested for you. You just got to get from here to there, right? And that's just time. And so, you know, do what you need to do, but make sure that what you're doing is in alignment with your true rhythm, your true mind and body and soul, all of them connected and in alignment, right? This needs to be, you can't move forward until you're in that alignment. And so you've already been a success in so many ways. You've already had your victory in so many ways, and there is more victory down the line. But if don't get into analysis paralysis, essentially. What you need to do to move forward is the inner work. It's an inside job. It's about your emotions. It's about the trauma that you're holding in your body. And so the quicker that you realize that and you address those instead, and you kind of give this a moment to calibrate on its own, the quicker you'll be able to make a decision and move forward. This is about your alignment. You'll be able to make this decision easily after you get into that alignment. So do the clearing work you need to do this month, address the past, reconcile everything that's ready to be reconciled, and then you'll move forward. Okay, cool. If you like this video, think about giving it a like and subscribing. It really helps the channel. If you'd like to schedule a private reading with me, you can do so in the box below. And I will see you guys in March. Love you. Bye.